Yo, people, welcome back to the YouTube channel. You already know what time it is. It's time for another episode of All You Can Eat Chelsea. It's been a while. And I know people in the comments missed it because I sure did. Do you know what I'm saying? It's been a while. That's probably the longest we've gone with no episode, to be honest. No international break, and obviously last week as well. Miz was enjoying some family time. And then he was like, yo, should I watch the game back? And Younes was like, just enjoy your family, bro. Enjoy your family. But listen, guys, it's good to be back. I'll start with you, Younes. Have you calmed down? Have you? Actually, you have, because I saw your positives video, which means you've definitely calmed down.
Oh yeah, because it would be. I'm good, man. It would be dumb to ignore the fantastic 73 minutes that we had just to focus on the crap at the end. But yeah, hopefully we can take that forward. But overall, no, I'm good, and definitely calm down. I was fuming because I said it on the watch along as well. I was like, look, if this game at 2-0, I was like, if this finishes 2-2, I'm gonna be fuming. And then lo and behold, so
it happens. I mean, it really does happen quite often for us, but it never seems easy. But hey, what can you do? Miz, brother, how are you, bro? Beautiful weekend with the family, nice and relaxed on YouTube, just chill, calma.
Calma, bro. Calma. I had a really good weekend. It was my son's birthday. We went away to a beach sort of getaway and a holiday house, and I just couldn't be bothered. I just thought, I can't be bothered doing YouTube and do watch-alongs and whatnot. I just rather enjoy time with the family. And then obviously the morning after, when I woke up and saw the score, and I saw how the score lined up. We were leading 2-0, and then it was 2-0, and I was like, whoa, this would have been a wild situation. And I saw all you guys with your videos. Do you know what? It's a different feeling for me because I didn't experience it live.
You didn't watch it?
I didn't watch it. So if I had done a preview, I had a prediction in my mind that it was going to be 2-2. Like I was going to predict 2-2. And I was also saying that it's a game that we can't lose. So I'm happy to take a draw, but it's a game we can't lose. So if we get a win, fantastic. So for me, it was a bit of a mixed feeling. I didn't go through the turbulence time that you guys went through, 2-0 up and then 2-2, and the way it became 2-2, obviously. So me, after a few days later, when I finally did get to see the highlights, I was like, do you know what? Like, there's quite a lot of positives to take. But I reckon if I had been doing the watch along, had I gone through what you all went through, I think I might have had a different feeling about it. But overall, I felt like, do you know what? It's not all that bad, Like, I think there's a lot of good that we can talk about. That's how I felt. Yeah.
Oh, there's definitely, for sure. Took me a while to realize because I was so annoyed. First thing Bubba says in the group chat when the game's done, he's like, what the fuck? I think he was shocked. He couldn't quite believe it. Bubba, bro, how you doing? How you feeling, man?
I'm good, bro. Because being an Indian, it's all sunshine and roses right now because we're doing absolutely crazy in the Cricket World Cup. And hopefully we'll win the whole thing. So when Chelsea were winning 2-0 against Arsenal, and I was like, we're going to win this game. Because at 75th minute, Arsenal were going through the motions. There was a phase, if you had noticed, that Colwell and Silva were doing rondos with each other. And no Arsenal player were coming forward to press them.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's done. The game is done. Oh, the game is done. And next day, India were to play New Zealand in the Cricket World Cup. And I was like, no way. I'm getting happiness from the both sides. Either India will lose to New Zealand or Chelsea will do something crazy in this game. And that is what exactly happened, because it has been a rare occurrence in the last 20 years of me watching cricket and football that India and Chelsea win on the same weekend. It happens rarely. So when the Chelsea drew the game, I was like, okay, India will beat New Zealand definitely in the Cricket World Cup. So yeah.
Did they?
Yeah, they smashed them as well.
So nice. And we hadn't beaten New Zealand in any of the Cricket World Cup tournaments in the last 20 years. So it was a game of it was a big deal. So yeah. So
can I ask how are because I've not been paying attention. How are England doing? Are they in it?
They are bottom of the table.
Yeah, last.
Southgate out, man. Southgate out. Southgate out.
Southgate out, bro.
Yeah, Southgate out. Why is he
You know-
playing Bellingham in the 10? You know, it's ridiculous. It's absolute shambles from Southgate.
Harry
Did you know
Maguire,
England-
instead of hitting a 6, he's out.
Do you know England's the defending champion as well? Like to be last.
Oh,
and
okay, so they're
defending
not crap.
champion, that's quite mad. Well, they won the last one.
Apparently
I mean,
not.
did they really win it? I mean, it was a draw and it was given to them. So because of anyway, we won't talk about it.
Yeah, we'll leave that. But
Mixed feelings.
I mean,
Mixed feelings.
yeah, everybody's speaking on, obviously there's a lot of positives, and obviously we're going into the next game. We're basically halfway there. I must say, when the team is playing a lot better now, and I am actually looking forward to our games. And to be honest, I've been looking forward to our games all season. Even when we were losing, I was saying I'm still looking forward to it because I knew that there was a lot of potential, at least for this squad, especially under a manager like Pochettino, who's going to develop players. It can't get any worse than it was last season. It can only really get better, considering the talent and then obviously, you know, the potential. But I really wish we had midweek games now because I want to watch the team. Like, it's annoying on a Tuesday and Wednesday. You got Man United playing, Newcastle playing today, Arsenal plays yesterday, and we've got the squad size to play games, but we got to wait a whole week, which is the only thing that's annoying about this season. It's just a long gap in between games. I feel like it's international break all the time. But I mean, we speak about positives. I guess the three players that come to mind for me is Mudryk, Cole Palmer, and Gallagher. I mean, if there was ever a demonstration of hard work, which is what the title.
I think Cucurella has a shout as well, man. Cucurella has a shout.
Cucurella has a shout as well. Cucurella has a massive shout.
No,
as well.
his name's not Cucurella, it's Roberto Carlos.
This is the type of carried away shit that got us to join in the first place. I ranked you, and you were like, "Yo, we won." I was like, "Bro, it's like the 70th minute, 65th minute. What do you mean we won? Is it full time?" He's like, "No, man, we won. It's game over, bro. I'm going for a." I said, "Lord." I said, when the game finished, everyone was like, "You and Younes juju'd it. Look what you've done. Just keep your mouth shut. This would never have happened." I'm not gonna lie, I was getting very giddy as well. I rang Saeed, basically planning my victory parade. So yeah, it was not good. But those players in particular, I mean Mudryk and Gallagher, these guys put the shift in, man, off the pitch as well. The work rate that they're putting in, it's an absolute example to the rest of the team. If you're on the fringes like a Madueke, who, you know, came on and wasn't great, didn't exactly cover himself in glory for the goal we conceded, the Saka cross, you got to put the work in like these two, because whether you're the marquee poster boy who was signed for a big amount of money, hijacked from Arsenal, or you were the Cobham graduate who was basically, they were trying to force out for any team, Everton, West Ham, Tottenham, whoever would take him, both of them have put in serious amounts of work rate to be in this team consistently, and the performances are starting to come through. Younes, are you starting? I got it in the title. It's a cheeky little link to where I'm segueing, because sometimes I forget where I'm going with things, so I just put it all in the title. But do you think there's mini leaders being put together in this? Like, are you starting to see more leadership qualities in these players now that we're doing better in recent games?
I wouldn't say leadership qualities. I would just say that it seems like there's a way that the players are starting to be used under Pochettino, which is working for them. And for me, Gallagher is a prime example, you know, of the manager has found a way to be able to utilize him at his best and have players around him who are also contributing to how to get the best out of a player like Gallagher. So I feel like now it's starting to get to a point where Poch is not just understanding certain players, but there's a system that is starting to be, there's a system that's starting to show, you know, properly. Because we know about the way that he likes to play and you know, the system he wants to use, but it's about the execution. And now you're finding these players one by one popping up like mushrooms that are starting to feed into that system and execute it properly. And I feel like, yeah, Gallagher, for example, is a key. Cole Palmer was brought in and he's just blended in beautifully. Mudryk has now had that confidence come through, and he's a lot more direct, and it's working for him. And as a result, it's contributing to how we want to play. And when you're seeing other players like Miz said, like Cucurella, for example, just all of a sudden looking like he's, like I said, prime Roberto Carlos. But it's starting to show. So I wouldn't put it down just leadership qualities, because I do think the players want to do well, but it's about the actual work that they're executing now, on and off the ball. More so on the ball now, because I feel like we've always had a little bit of that off the ball work rate, go in and be, do the dirty work, do the dirty side of the game. But we lacked so much on the ball, creativity, getting into correct spaces. We were lacking all of that. And now it looks like they're starting to show some sort of a blend, which is the 73 minutes that we were doing up until we gave away the first goal against Arsenal. So if we can just keep that up, and I think now it's a result of having given a little bit of time to Poch to be able to get the best out of the players. I feel like bit by bit, it's starting to show. So hopefully we're on good track.
No, 100%. Miz, bro, I mean, against Arsenal, like you said, there were so many positives, bro. Unfortunately, there's only one player that didn't play well, which was Sanchez. I think everybody else could probably leave that game saying they put in a serious shift and they played really well. Does this give you more confidence going into the rest of the run? Because a lot was made of that run, and still is probably should be made of that run. Difficult fixture list. After seeing that result, you didn't get to see the context of the game, so that's probably even better because you didn't see us completely throw it away. But just seeing us get something from that game and knowing that, yeah, we played well for the majority of it and basically should have closed it, should have won 3-0 in my opinion, really. Does that give you more confidence going into the rest of the fixture list? Because coming into this, when I did a prediction video a couple of weeks ago, I said we'll get 11 points from 21, I think. People were laughing.
Wow. What? Do you know what? I wasn't shocked with the result that we got against Arsenal, because I started to see the momentum just before the international break came around. I actually started to feel there is something shifting at Chelsea Football Club. It all culminated from the Brighton victory, then it got carried on for the Fulham one, then it got carried on to the Burnley one, and you could slowly see there is a shift. You know how sometimes you just feel it, that I feel something's just changing. It's not one of those odd situation where we just won by chance. Like, you can seriously see something changing. You can see the work that's been put during the training session, and it's been translated into the field. And moving into the international break, I was very confident we were going to put up a very good performance against Arsenal, albeit I didn't get to watch it live. But if any one of us was said before the game, would you take a draw? I think all of us would have said, yes, we will take a draw, as long as we don't lose, right? Obviously, the win would be a bonus at this stage. Now, looking into the future, fixtures, regardless of what has happened on the Arsenal fixture, I was confident anyway. I was confident. Now I'm even more so confident. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I'm even more excited now, looking forward to the fixtures. Yes, at one point it did look daunting, but as I said, the run of games that we won and things were just starting to click. Just to add on to what you were discussing with Younes about the leadership. I'm not sure about the leadership yet. I think we need to see a few more games. But what I can definitely see in this current team at the moment is that the pride. You can tell prior to the three winning matches, the loss that what was the game that we lost just before Brighton? The 3-match winning. Did we lose against Aston Villa? Aston Villa.
Yeah.
And that's a game we should have won, right? I remember we had plethora of chances. We should have won that game. We ended up losing. I think that game hurt our pride. Like, I think the players literally, I feel, sat down and said, you know what? We're far better than this. We are far better than this as a unit, as a collective, as talents across the field. And I think that probably was a reality check for a lot of players on that particular match. And I'm hoping that, you know how we hate the project and the process and the patience, all these P words. I'm hoping that whatever happened on that Arsenal game, we don't let it happen again. We now got to make sure that the game up against Brentford, we go hard and we get the victory now. Do you know what I mean? I'd be very, very upset if we don't get the win now. Do you know what I mean? Like I treat that Arsenal game after being 2-0 up and then going to 2-2 as the hiccup. Do you know what I mean? Like every project, every process has hiccups along the way. I see that game as the hiccup. We had a hiccup, right? We were 2-0 up, then it was 2-2. Now we got to go out there at Stamford Bridge and absolutely demolish Brentford and take care of them and then look forward to the next game. I'll be severely disappointed if we don't get 3 points against Brentford.
It's one of those games as well, but it's like, it's exactly what you expect from a young team. Like a team or a team that's still in its early stages of, you know, building something potentially, hopefully special. This is exactly the type of result that you're going to get at the beginning of that process. You're going to get these frustrating why and how on earth have you not won that? And that's happened quite a few times this season. When I look at our league position, and I was saying it on the Big Six, the fact that we're behind Manchester United, I think is a travesty, because the way we played this season, you think we're minimum 7th on performance. Minimum. I'd say 7th would be roughly kind of like fair on performers. 7th, maybe 8th, but 10th is on the way we played. It just feels wrong. It doesn't feel right. But Baba, how are you feeling? Because before this, I say it's a mini run that we've been on, unbeaten run. What is it, 4 games now? It's some stressful times over there for our brother Bruno. So how are you feeling now?
See, that what a good performance does, right? Like when we had lost those points in those silly games in Nottingham Forest, Bournemouth, Aston Villa, we were like, no, nah, man, none of this process and this keeping patient and all of give time to the manager and to this team thing, man. Now that we are on a mini run, as you've said, and the way we played against Arsenal, Miz has now started again that process and that has mentioned the process and, you know, giving Posh time, let the team gel. It's only in experience, good things will. So that is what a feel good factor does for us as fan base. That is what good performances, good result does to us. See, for me, the next 2 games, Spurs away and like Brentford and Blackburn, I'm pretty confident that, okay, we have done crazy things, but I keep us favorites going into those games, right? At Stamford Bridge, come on, man, you should beat Brentford. And
We
Blackburn.
better.
We better,
Yeah. Spurs away.
It will be a step backwards for me if we don't get 3 points against Brentford.
Yes,
it will be a step backward.
Yeah. So now the 2 games, the 2 big games, even the Newcastle game, if you count that, Spurs, City, and Newcastle. It's about the performances in those games. Now, if you perform well, and if you perform well in those games, you're bound to take something out of those games. I'm not saying that you lose all 3 games in the manner you've played against Arsenal. If you play like what you played against Arsenal, and still you come out with 0 points out of possible 9 against these 3 teams, I don't think so. That is like, that would be the case. We will get something out of those games. So again, you have to see like how, if the performances have improved. Earlier that Chilwell on left wing, you know, was making us all go mad. That has gone away. Kukurea, whenever he's given chances this season, has performed really well. Colville, whenever he's played as a centre back, offers more in terms of ball progression. So I consider it as a blessing in disguise that Chilwell got injured. I want none of the players to get injured anyway, be it Chelsea's player or any other team's player. But in this case, it has turned out a blessing in disguise for us, because Poch had to go with Mudryk. He needed players who could play that role specifically, and that has made a team look good. And who would have thought that Gallagher would be the most crucial part of this midfield and the most crucial part of this team. This team cannot function without Gallagher anymore. He has become the most important player for us. Whether it's winning the ball, whether it's, you know, progressing the ball. I was reading a stat before the Arsenal game that he's a player with most, like a second ranked player with most number of successful passes in the final third, below Rodri. And he has also won the most number of balls in the opposition final third. So defensively, offensively, he's all over the place in a good sense. Not all over the place like 6s and 7s. He's all over the pitch in a very good sense. So yeah, all of this is looking very positive. Things are coming through. We'll have players like Nkunku and Lavia, hopefully, when this run is done. And like now that we have a difficult run, we are bound to have an easy run again. And those are the fixtures that you target. You
Yeah.
cannot do the same mistake again, what you've done in
Yeah.
the first part of the season. And like, if you remember Liverpool also, they were also languishing alongside us for better part of the season. The last season, we were 10th, they were 9th. And then we fell down and down and down, and then they went on a run and they finished 5th in the table. So I think we can do something similar to that, what Liverpool did last season.
Yeah.
So let's see what happens. But again, it is the inexperience which might hurt us in the long term, because what you've seen in this game and the games before that, even when you play well or you create chances, you don't have those leaders on the pitch who can, grab the game by the scruff of its neck. Okay, we won't let this go. It's a very young team, and these things will happen. And maybe when we are like 2 points off the top 5 or top 6 in late April, or like when 2 or 3 games are left, we would look at these games and say a little bit of experience, or a little bit of quality between the sticks or up front, we might have, who knows, maybe finished 3rd or 4th even. Now we are, just missing out on the top 5 by 2 to 3 points. So that is something that I'm really worried about right now. This team will click. I've seen a lot of positives. It's just about getting those results now.
First of all, I want to say happy birthday as well to Oshake
Happy birthday, bro.
on the
Happy
screen.
birthday.
Wish him a happy birthday, people in the community, in the chat as well. Big him up. Big day for him. Love, bro. Much appreciated. Morning to you as well. Big up everybody in the chat. I'm going to go through the chat in just a second. I'm seeing all your messages there. I'm not going to read out Iceman's because he's a hater. He's just a hater. Do you know what I mean? Like, I can't remember he can't bring any positivity to the chat, any good vibes to the chat. He's always on some violence for no reason. It's a strange don. But we love him all the time.
No, bro. If he hates you and he still, comes on the stream to check what you have to say, that makes him your fan. That makes him your fan.
He's not like a real
He loves you
hater.
secretly. He loves you.
Yeah, he's like
he loves you.
he's like
closet
an annoying
fan.
pest.
No. He's a closet fan. If he were a hater, why would he care what you got to say on your streams? So he cares about what you have to say. So he's a fan. Look at it that way.
No hate, man. That's what he says.
There we
Listen, people, a lot of stuff I'm seeing in the chat is like, what is Lavia going to do when he comes back? And you just mentioned the importance of Gallagher. And listen, if he's the way he's playing right now, he 100% stays in the team. I'm happy with that because he's playing very well. Like, it's gone from appreciating the tackles and interceptions against Liverpool and winning the ball back and playing it off simple. And he was playing it off simple to begin with, maybe to build up confidence. And now he's actually going past players and he's carrying the ball when he's on it, and he's setting up, a goal, and he's having that awareness and the weight of pass that's needed. And now the only caveat, and I think this applies to the whole team, not just Gallagher, we are playing against high lines a lot. And we are playing in open space on the transition a lot. And it's suiting us because we know how much we struggle against low blocks. I think that's a mix between teams not really respecting us because of where we are in the league and where we performed last year. And why would you not attack Chelsea anyway? Like, they don't take their chances. So we just go shot for shot. When we come up against those low blocks, it will be down to everybody to prove in this team that they can still maintain a high level of performance and don't just become a passive. And the same goes with the manager. Like, the manager, when the low blocks come back, it will be down to you to put together a team and to put together a system where we can bypass that and play through that and create chances as clear cut as we're doing now. So that will be another test for everyone. But whilst he's playing how he's playing right now, and I think in these big games where we are going to have high lines and teams are going to come at us, then he's perfect. At Palace, he was doing the same thing against City, Spurs. When I referenced these games for Palace, he was brilliant in that right channel, scoring goals and putting in serious performances, covering space for two players. But yeah, Lavia, when he comes back, it's no guarantee anybody that comes back into this team is going to get a slot because, I mean, everybody's playing well right now. But to be honest, I'm not worried because we need these players for next year. I have no doubts we're going to be in Europe. Some form of Europe next year, we're going to be involved, and we're going to need
you got to have quality squad depth, right? If you have to challenge on
exactly.
all fronts. Considering if we qualify for Europe, you will be in 4 competitions next season. So what happens when you get an injury to Caicedo? Who's there? Oguchuku. Are you that confident about Oguchuku that he can replace Caicedo in the big games? So got to have quality squad depth, and that is where Lavia comes in. That is why we had got Gusto in the first place, because before last season, if Reece James got injured, your season is done. If Kante got injured, your season is done.
Yeah.
Now, right now, we have a proper player who can start in the 11 as well as a good backup on the bench as well. And that is where this healthy competition also stems from in the squad.
Yeah. I think people are mentioning where will Nkunku play. He did play striker in pre-season quite a bit. Not that it was my favorite position for him, but he did play up there. Maybe as a more potent clinical version of what we have up there with Broja and Jackson as another option. And this is what I was saying with the depth. When Nkunku's fit, we have 3 strikers because Poch used him up there. It's like Maatsen. He's a left back, but Poch used him at wing. So we have a winger in Maatsen, but and potentially a 10. So when Nkunku comes back, you're saying, where's he going to play? Could play out front. Could play out front. Could easily play out front with Palmer, Palmer, Gallagher, and Mudryk off him.
If that Jackson chance falls to Nkunku, where you try to round up the goalkeeper, Nkunku scores. The Raya got the ball off him when Sterling played him in, and he was through on. Nkunku scores that goal. He's got quality. He's got that trickery.
As much as we shouldn't rely on one player that we haven't seen much of, he was so clinical in pre-season. It does make you feel like he would be giving us points, like he would be adding points. He certainly wouldn't be taking away. So he'd be only adding points tally to what we've got right now. But yeah, listen, I'm looking forward to him being back. What's everybody's thoughts on the goalkeeping situation? Because it's kind of calmed down a bit. Arsenal are having their own. Funny, ironically enough, Arsenal are having their own goalkeeping situation as well. Between Raya and Ramsdale, there's a big debate going on there. But for us people, my review, I'm sure you got it, Younes and Bubba as well. Everybody was just like, yo, bring Petrovic into this team now. I'm hesitant to do that because I've never watched Petrovic a day in my life. And if we were going to bring him in, I think he would have been playing against Luton and he would have played against Wimbledon. Maybe not so Brighton because it was a tougher game in the cup, but he would have made some appearances by now. The fact that he hasn't leaves me to believe that he's not going to be even in consideration to come in for this place. I mean, do you guys want to see the goal? Because I could understand kicking Sanchez up the arse. He does need a kick, but I don't think Petrovic is necessarily going to give him that kick if we haven't seen him yet.
But this is the thing, we don't know much about Petrovic, but the club does. Poch does.
Yeah.
Like the ones at the training ground do, for sure. But the thing is, the plan with Sanchez was to bring him in and become the number one. Like, so up until this point, I can understand if Sanchez has just been selected constantly. We've not given even a look to Petrovic because we've only just brought Sanchez in and Kepa's not here. Sanchez is meant to be the number one, but it's the consequence of the accumulation of mistakes that we're seeing from Sanchez, which now has paid us the price in one game, where it almost did in other games. And we were lucky that it didn't. But this one against Arsenal is where we paid the price. And because we've seen that mistake time and time again, now that conversation has come to the table. So it's, I think, only popped to the table because Petrovic isn't someone that's 18 and, just come out the academy. And we definitely know maybe he's a bit too young. Like he's not got any expertise just yet, but he's 24 and we've brought him in and there's meant to be a certain level of quality there that we've not seen yet. But we'd like to think that if we've brought him in, that he's somewhat decent at least. So if Sanchez is costing us in the way that he has been, and that mistake against Arsenal specifically, it's, I think, only right that if, and I said this yesterday, if Petrovic is good enough with the qualities that he has that we've not been able to see yet, but Poch has, and the ones that the training ground has, and if he does possess some sort of quality, play him and let's see what he can do. Because I feel like this mistake that Sanchez does of giving the ball away to the opposition like he's playing for them, for like 10 minutes every game, there's this moment where he's just, yep, I don't play for Chelsea anymore. Here's the ball. It's happened time and time again. I'd like to think that doesn't happen with another goalkeeper. And we can't risk that keep happening, even though Sanchez does possess qualities with his shot stopping. And we've seen him pull off a few worldies. And we know that he's meant to be accustomed to playing out the back and having good ball playing ability. But when you're giving the ball away that many times, it's a problem. So if Petrovic does have some sort of quality, I'd like to see it. And I think he should get a chance. And I think the game against Blackburn is where we might actually see him make his debut.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that's the game we'll see him. And I think that's what I'm most comfortable with, even though Sanchez is really frustrating because he'll have a good performance, but there'll always be, like you said, some sort of bozo moment. And I said this when he signed, even when he was playing well for Brighton, he had bozo moments. I've seen this guy let in goals that he should not let in, make blunders with certain saves or, yes, with distribution, which is why De Zerbi dropped him as well. But at the same time, it's weird, Miz, because he's performing like when you go to the stats, because I always want, I'll say what I see, and I'll go to the stats just to check if it's backing it up. So I do this with all the players. And you see Sanchez's stats, and he's performing really well in comparison to all keepers in the league. And you think, am I being too harsh? But then you know what you saw. You know that you saw this guy clear it into the stands for distribution. But yet, for long accuracy on pass, long passing accuracy, he's one of the best in the league. So is all the keepers in the league just mid? What's going on?
This is where I want to provide the other side of the coin. Obviously, Younes has gone out, and then I tend to agree. Like, there's a lot of things.
I know where you're going.
Yeah, like there's a lot of things Younes has said that obviously makes sense. But I do want to play the devil's advocate here. Look, I think we can all agree when we first signed Robert Sanchez that we didn't sign a world-class keeper. I think we can all agree on that. We said he's a very good keeper. I don't know how many people watch Brighton. I think Younes used to watch Brighton a bit because of Cucurella. Matisse, I don't know how much of Brighton you watched under Graham Potter, but I took a keen interest of watching Brighton under Graham Potter. And yes, he had the bozo moments, but I felt that he was a decent enough goalkeeper. There was a patch of games where he was going through where he was just phenomenal, whether it's shot stopping, whether it's commanding his box, whether it's distribution. But of course, there was always a bozo moment. So when we signed him and there was a conversation between him and Kepa, I always felt maybe he's a tad bit better than Kepa because of Kepa's other flaws. Kepa's distribution is actually a little bit too hyped up. It's not all that great as we think it is, or even as Kepa thinks it is. It's not actually that great, but it's Kepa's other flaws, long shots, not commanding the box. These are certain things that Robert Sanchez can give us. Not that long ago, Robert Sanchez, there were a couple of games where it was negative results for us, but Robert Sanchez pretty much kept us in the game.
Man of the match.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah, man of the match performances. And we were all, arming and ahhing and being very happy with his performances. Look, that mistake against Arsenal, of course, that was such a disastrous mistake, and that's what sticks to our head. And I completely understand what Younes is saying. There's been games throughout this season already where he has made those mistakes, we just didn't get punished. One of the clear-cut ones was the Brighton one in the Carabao Cup, where the first half he looked like he was the Brighton goalkeeper. Everything he was laying it off to João Pedro or Ansu Fati or into the stands. What I will say is that I think we need to back this guy, man. I really do. I honestly feel this is not the time to bash a particular player. There's a good feel factor at the moment at Chelsea Football Club. I don't think we need to go out there and absolutely hammer a particular goalkeeper, knowing that the transfer window is not even around the corner as yet. It's still a few months away. And
also knowing that there's not even a world-class goalkeeper realistically on the market. People talk about, Mike Magnan at AC Milan, but he's ridiculously injury-prone. So
he's injured. So, and
ended something, yeah.
I was excited about getting Andre Onana. I don't know, some of you guys probably were excited about getting Andre Onana. You look at him struggling at Man United as well.
Yeah. Raya as well. Raya is another one.
So many people has been saying we should have got Raya. Arsenal fans are having troubles whether Raya is the right keeper or not. So, look, we have to understand this is a new environment. Other players have made big mistakes. It's just the goalkeeper ones really stick out. You know what I mean? Striker and goalkeeper, many people say when a striker misses a goal, it sticks out. When a goalkeeper stuffs up, it sticks out. But there have been other players, whether it be a right back, left back, midfielders, they've all made mistakes at Chelsea Football Club. So my theory would be for the time being, I'm hoping Poch puts a hand around Robert Sanchez, just like he has done with many other players. And actually, we need to understand, why is Robert Sanchez making those errors every now and then? Like, where is the focus? We need to understand the root cause, what's going on. And then if we finally figure out that, you know what, maybe he just doesn't have it in him, then fine. January window, we make a decision. But we need to figure out that overall, he seems to be quite a decent goalkeeper. But why is there that lapse? What made him pass the way he did? Was there a break of communication? Was he instructed to pass through the middle regardless? We need to understand what happened. He needs to sit down with the goalkeeping coaches. He needs to sit down with Poch. He needs to sit down with the players and actually figure out, how can we rectify this situation, make sure that this doesn't happen again. Now, if this continuously happens till the January window opens up, then we can sit down and go, do you know what, maybe there's been too many points that's been dropped because of this goalkeeper. We need to reassess. But right now, I just feel like, let's back this guy, man. Let's look forward to the Brentford game. I wouldn't drop him one bit. Maybe for the Blackburn Carabao Cup game, perhaps give Petrovic an opportunity so that he's interested as well, so that someone like Sanchez doesn't feel complacent, that he knows that there is someone just behind him. I'd keep it as it is for the time being, man. Seriously.
Yeah, I think as well, I'm seeing names mentioned. None of them are world class. Pickford, Martinez, not world class, especially on
Ramsdale.
the ball.
Ramsdale
we're being linked with, again, not world class. Vicario, he at times has had, he's had a very, very, very good start to the season, but he's still made a couple of errors here and there as well.
But he's erratic as well. I've seen Spurs matches very clearly. He's erratic.
Are people about to say that Vicario is world class based on 9 games? Because a lot of people didn't know him before Tottenham signed him. So again, that's very reactionary, I think. I think we need to, I agree with you. I think when you've had players like Cucurella in particular, who last season, and Gallagher, who many others were more than happy to sell Gallagher. Cucurella, many people are happy to loan out to Manchester United, who would have definitely helped them. Then we need to, and then we see the improvements from those players. We need to give Sanchez that time as well to improve. It's not, I don't think he's going to be world class. I don't think that's going to happen. But I think he can get us through the season, and we can finish where we need to finish, and then we can look again. But we need to make sure that we don't just buy on impulse. We don't just buy just to buy because we're panicking. Because I'm looking at the chat, and the lack of world-class goalkeepers, or the lack of guaranteed hits I'm seeing in the chat for goalkeeping names. Well, I'm like, that guy's definitely going to come in and be the next keeper for the next 5-6 years. It just goes to show that, the other players that we were linked with, like Onana, like Raya, like all these other keepers, they've all struggled as well. So the goalkeeper market maybe isn't where it needs to be. And it's similar to the striker market. Maybe that wasn't where it needed to be for us to act, so we didn't act. And I think we need to get better at doing that as a fan base. We're not trying to build our FIFA Ultimate Team 11 from day one. Like, we need to make sure that we can actually say, okay, do you know what? The market's not great. And we also sometimes maybe don't want under the radar scouted player. People say they want a scouted player, but then when the scouts scout, then you have to trust them. You know what I mean? And that's not always an easy thing to do when they don't start off exactly how you want them to. But Ben Roberts is there, and Sanchez, he knows Sanchez very well. So, he's got to get the best out of him.
And the other thing is, I really want to see how Robert Sanchez reacts after this. He would have seen the backlash straight after the match. Yeah, none of these players, don't tell me, they don't log into social media. They very much log into social media and they know exactly what's going on. So he would have seen the backlash off the back of that Arsenal game. I would love to see now the reaction from Robert Sanchez from here on. Go out there, because this Brentford game will be a lot different to the Arsenal game. Do you know what I mean? Brentford are going to be set piece specialists. They're going to try and maul us on set pieces. They will try and play the long ball as often as they can. They will pump crosses as well. They will try and counter-attack with a lot of pace. What does Sanchez do to cover for the defenders? So I want to see Sanchez really come back strongly against Brentford and then see what he can do from there on in. So interested to see that. If he crumbles, well, there you go. We know the answer. But if he comes back strong, at least we can say, do you know what? He's got a bit of a character. He's got a bit of a character. None of us are prone to, all of us are prone to
Nah, damn. I thought that was me. I was like,
here and there.
it's not.
Do you know
It's your
what I mean?
internet.
So it's how we bounce back. Did I just
The internet does
disappear?
not
Yeah,
want
you're in-
Miss. The internet does not want Miss to say good things about Sanchez.
Yeah. You was having like I thought it was me, and I was like, do you know what? If it's me, then fair. I was looking at Younes, and he was like,
because the
nah.
other three, the other two, you and Drogbaba are normal, and I'm like, yeah, it's him. It's him.
It's
Miz.
definitely Miz. Yeah.
It's his internet.
I thought it was Matisse because I'm like, why is he freezing? And then I saw the other two froze as well. I'm like, it must be me.
You should have played a
So,
prank.
yeah,
on
look.
you just started glitching out, like, you know what I mean? But yeah, no, it was. But you're fine now. You're fine now, bro.
Yeah, you're back. No, you know what?
What did I say? What did you miss? Did you
Everything.
guys catch? Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
we basically missed your Sanchez.
The last 20 seconds of what you said.
Yeah.
I just said that. I think it'll be interesting to see how he bounces back from this now. Do you know what I mean? Like we're all of us are prone to making mistakes, the odd mistakes here and there. I think it's more interesting to see how one bounces back from that. So let's see. That's pretty much what I said.
You know what? I want to add that I think that comment's funny, by the way. With Sanchez and that mistake against Arsenal, I genuinely think if there weren't any prior mistakes before the Brighton game, the other examples, him kicking it out for throws and whatnot, if it was just that one isolated incident, I feel like all of us and many people would have gotten over it. It's one of those things that sometimes it can just happen. But the problem, and you asked it earlier on, Miz, was about, is it his composure? Or is he being instructed? When you're seeing like those mistakes and giving the ball away carelessly, but not just in terms of the pass has been misplaced, but it's, as you said, Matisse, earlier on, kicking the ball out for far, but then it's out for a throw on one side. And then 2 minutes later, it's out for a throw on the other side. Like, that screams composure issue, right? And it screams like maybe he's in his own head. Now, I'd like to think that if that's the case, that he can get over that. Cool, no problem. But if we see it time and time again, it's no longer just a problem. It starts to become a little bit of a sabotage. That's the issue here. And I understand that with time and hopefully the games coming up, we see a bounce back for sure. And if he puts in the same performances like he did when we were saying, man of the match and all of that, absolutely fantastic. But hopefully he shows that level and we don't get to see these things creep in, because at the end of the day, it's what's going to hold the team back from getting a result. There needs to be a level of understanding the situation you're in, and that's the composure part. That's the element that he needs to understand, is when you're 0-0 or you're losing, and there has to be an element of risk taken, and you've got to try and make that pass that's going to cut through, and if it makes it, it's a fantastic pass and we're in on goal, then cool. But if you're 2-0 up and you don't have to take that risk, don't take that risk. If you have to boot it up, or if you have to go to the closest man next to you, go to the closest man next to you, because time's ticking. Simple. So it's understanding the situation you're in. And it was that mistake that led us to conceding the first goal and then got everything going into a flipping downward spiral. If you understand not to take the risk at certain times, or when you have to take the risk, you go for it and you try to pull off that pass, then cool. That's where I think the composure needs to be, and that's where the level of understanding needs to be. And if he does get that with time, then cool. But if he doesn't, then there needs to be conversations. But like I said, look, for sure, the next game, Sanchez starting, we see a better performance, great. But I do want to see what Petrovic can offer against Blackburn. I feel like he has to play that game because we need to understand what we have. So if we get those two things, happy days.
Just to caveat that argument, let's just say for argument's sake, Sanchez wasn't to go short.
Yeah.
To Gallagher. I think it was to Gallagher, right?
Yeah.
And I think initially Gallagher did show for it, but then he kind of tracked back and then Declan Rice took the ball. Let's just say for argument's sake, Sanchez goes long. This is why I was saying, what is the instruction? Like, has Poch said,
yeah,
during that time, regardless of the situation, whether it's 2-0, whether it's 0-0, whether we're down. We don't want to give, because going long doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to have the possession. It's a gamble. You got to win the duel.
It's a very high risk pass.
It's a gamble.
My thing is, right, is that I don't think Poch
You do have the whole team to defend it. That's the thing.
Yeah,
True, but would Poch like the fact that you just gave away the ball to Arsenal potentially, who are now going to come for an attack, whereas a pass, we keep the ball. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
And this is why I'm saying at 2-0, if you're going to make a short pass, keep it simple then. Don't think I'm going to try and cut that pass to a player that's literally in between 3 or 4 Arsenal players, and there is a risk that it might not make it. True. Whereas you can go to your closest defender. If you're 0-0 or you're losing, all right, fair enough. You're trying to score. You're desperate. Cool. If it works, it's a worldie. But if not, just go short and let the team just pass and dictate.
This is where in-game management comes in, because you're 2-0 up. You haven't really got much more to gain from high-risk passes now. Like, you are in control. The team that you're up against has not made a single shot on target for the full game so far. So you have already shown that defensively you're airtight. If you are to lose the ball and you are to be pegged back for the remaining 10 minutes, you've already shown you're pretty sound defensively, especially with the options on the bench. We could have brought maybe Leslie Okachoku, Desassi and Badiashile were there. I don't know how many minutes they could do under assessment, but they were options, maybe even to go to a 5. But I'm less concerned about that, more only saying that Leslie Okachoku could have come in and tightened up the midfield even more, because he was definitely fully fit. But you've already shown that defensively you're airtight. So for me, I agree with... And I think Poch, I don't think Poch is as far gone as De Zerbi, where it's like you must play out from the back. I've seen Brighton up against Liverpool and Man City now, where they are just resound to playing out from the back, even when it's really risky, because they're getting pressed high up the pitch. Liverpool are one of the best pressers, pressers in the league from the front, and and after being caught once, they still went and done it again moments later and conceded a second in that game a couple of weeks ago. So I don't think Poch is I don't know, but I don't think Poch is of that level of strictness where he's like, we must play out from the back. He's already shown, I think, quite a bit of versatility and approach in the way we play. So do
you reckon Matisse maybe perhaps that's the Brighton in Sanchez?
I think individuals just need to use. I think individuals just, because do you know why, bro? Because earlier on in the game, we were going long quite a bit. Like, we weren't always playing out from the back. We were picking and choosing our moments. Sometimes we were going long. And the only disadvantage was, obviously, we were playing the 2-10s in Palmer and Gallagher. We didn't have a focal point to actually hold up the play. So we were going long, and most of the time we were losing those balls.
It was Gallagher at times.
Yeah. So we were going down that route if we had to, because we know that Arsenal's press is and that's why we didn't have much possession in the first half. I think they after the goal, they had something like 80-20 split, because we were basically just off the ball merchants. We were just blocking off the central spaces with the 2-10s, and it was basically a box midfield, and we were shoving them out wide. We didn't really see too much of the ball because we were going long quite a bit. We didn't play for out from the back every single time. So I don't know. I think maybe we need an option as well, where I think Jackson holds up the ball quite well. I think Breuer is capable of doing that as well. So at that point, was he on the pitch at that point, Jackson? I think he was, wasn't he?
At what point?
When Sanchez made that pass. I have to check.
Yeah. He was. He was there.
Because if he's there, that's even kind of less reason to say that we shouldn't go long. Do you know what I mean? Like, he can contest and compete.
64th minute, I think Mudryk came off and Jackson came on. And
he actually played. Yeah, he played more than the other substitutes, didn't he? The other ones came on about 84. So yeah, we could have. I think we could have been going long and just be sensible. Do you know what I mean? Just be sensible and be secure and be very. Just don't take risks, man. You're 2-0 up.
Even in that pass, you could see Colville in that left back position with Kukurea. He was asking for that. Give me the ball. Give me the ball. He was doing like that. But he still decided to go off field. So better decision making.
Another player that I think is listen, it's early days for him, and I'm a big pusher of him developing and proving that he can be here. But it's early days. Madueke came on, obviously made an error. Listen, he's had defensive tracking back, closing down issues since he got here, to be honest. I think against West Ham, Emerson scored back post at the Olympic Stadium last season. He didn't track that runner either. But when Angelo Gabriel is balling out at Strasbourg, someone's gonna lose. Someone's gonna lose that fight, because this kid, he is balling out. It came off the bench the other day, and I think in a 3-0 defeat to PSG, and still balled out, regardless of the fact that his team were getting slapped up. And I'm a massive fan of him. I know you are as well, Miz, from pre-season. Do you worry a bit for Madueke, or is he just having to really? Is he in his teething stage, where he's kind of just learning how serious this situation is at Chelsea, and the manager, and not going out, and kind of manager reining him in for that, and then this Saka cross he didn't block, and because do you know what it is at Chelsea? It's fine margins. You can get away with that at most teams in this league. If you go and do that at Nottingham Forest, or you go and do that at, I don't know, Palace, you can get away with it, which is where some people feel like he should be out on loan. But then, you know, he shows under 21 internationals for England that he has got quality, and he does. But the fine margins in football, the details that he doesn't have yet, maybe that Mudryk has learned. So where are you with him? Are you just kind of just patient, waiting for him to kind of step up, or do you think he could be
looking at Poch and how he's been working with Mudryk, especially Mudryk. There are other players that he's been working very closely with, but it wasn't that long ago we were all thinking, what is going on with Mudryk? His brother, his touch, his off the ball work rate, he's not covering, he's not making an effort. What's going on? I think you got to balance this. Players, and I would love to see what you guys have to say about this, but I consistently see on interviews or just social media posts or whatever it is, article, players, number one, they want to feel important. They really want to feel like they're needed, right? That's one side of the story. They want to feel like they belong. The other side of the story is you got to work hard as well. Like, in order to feel like you belong and to feel you're important, you've got to work your backsides off. So does Madueke all of a sudden, Mudryk has developed and he's working so hard off the ball, literally not that long ago, all of this stuff we didn't see from Mudryk. Now we're thinking Madueke is a rubbish player. He can't deliver this, that, the other. I think we need to go through the same process that Poch went with Mudryk to go through with Madueke now. It's not easy for a player. One, injuries have hampered his situation of playing. Two, he's not really getting that much opportunities, which is somewhat difficult at the moment because we are playing with 3 attacking players. So essentially it's going to be Sterling, Palmer, Jackson, Mudryk now. So it's very difficult to crack into the team. So we need to be patient. We just need to be patient. I'm not going to be one of those fans that's going to say, oh, Madueke just doesn't have it in him to track back, a defender. Like, I've seen how Madueke plays for under 21s. Now, I know that's under 21s. I've seen how Madueke talks as well. Not that long ago, he's had a whole heap of things to say. That, if you're a Chelsea player, you got to win trophies here. That's what we do here. So I know he's got the mentality. I know he's got the attitude. It's just a matter of, I think something's not feeling completely right with him, because obviously recently he had a 1-game suspension as well from Pochettino for partying whilst he was injured. Poch wasn't happy with that. So you can tell this player.
And he owned it, to be fair. He did, claim responsibility. He accepted the.
Of course.
Yeah.
But you can tell there must be some sort of a uneasy feeling, right? So he needs to feel comfortable again. Poch needs to make him feel comfortable. He needs to put in the hard yards in the training ground. And then I'm certain, just the way we are praising Mudryk, we will be praising Madueke as well, because this guy, you see some of the clips for under 21s. You go, that's like, there's a quality player in there. And I know this is serious level of football, like Premier League. This isn't under 21s, but there were a few matches last season where Madueke was one of the standout players. And I know it wasn't very difficult to be the standout player last season. Everyone was rubbish. Little bits and pieces would make someone stand out. But what I'm trying to say is that he's not all that bad. But of course, as you said, Matisse, if the season continues in this manner for Madueke, hey, you best believe Angelo Gabriel ain't gonna muck around. This guy is serious. Do you know what I mean? He's ripping it apart in Liga. So he's going to come in with a lot of fire next season, trying to claim a particular spot in Chelsea Football Club, which will potentially mean that Madueke will be up for grabs. Do you know what I mean?
Not everyone can win. Not everyone can win, and that's the harsh reality of football at the top level. You know, you have to be on your P's and Q's from the get-go. You have to be on it because there's somebody else vying for your place that's not even at the club. You know what I mean? Like you think that you could just look at the squad, the first team squad on the website and think that's who I'm competing with. There's people outside in France that are waiting for your position. Do you know what I mean? And that's not even the fact that we have a very, you know, transfer hungry ownership strategy right now.
Bro, there's players in South America, Matisse, in
yeah.
Paez.
Yeah, exactly. Another one. So I hope he does take inspiration, I guess, from Mudryk in the sense of how much work he's put in, because we've always known that Mudryk works incredibly hard, whether it's in the gym or it's the extra sessions, the clips that we're seeing. And, you know, at some point it can only be so much PR where you're actually like, no, this guy's actually seriously putting in the work. Like, they're not just fabricating or bringing these clips to light and not showing anybody else's. Like, this guy seriously must be staying and doing extra time that other people are not doing. And if you are going to, you know, if you are going to fight through the crowd, those little differences are going to be what makes or breaks a player's career at Chelsea, potentially. Lampard was famous for doing extra shooting drills at Chelsea when he was younger and practicing. Lampard was, I mean, and West Ham fans will know it more than anyone else. He wasn't exactly rated from the get-go. This guy had to put the shift in, you know, every single training session and just keep honing in on his craft over and over and over again until he perfected it. And then, you know, he brought it to the top level eventually. That's what Mudryk is kind of doing almost. Mudryk kind of reminds me of, maybe he's got kind of like a Salah work ethic, where I think Mudryk he's got a couple of natural, you know, gifts like pace, but he's not a hazard. He's not someone that, you know, just burst onto the scene at 21 and could just play Mario Kart and enjoy life and get the performances regardless. Like, he has to work hard. Madueke has to work hard. They're not like, they're players that could easily drop off and be at mid-table clubs if they don't put the work in. That's how I see them. So if you don't put in that same level of work, then you're not going to get the same level of results potentially, and then you're gonna find yourself in a situation where, you know, you do get overtaken. So yeah, let's see. Let's see what happens with him, because I do want him to get game time, but at the same time, I do want a settled team as well. And I think if we start performing well, it'll be very difficult to justify that he gets game time when we're winning or we're playing well with the other players. Like Palmer on the right side, he can't start over him right now. So he can only really hope for bench minutes. So,
you know what? Madueke, I think, needs a loan. And the fact that we're talking about Angelo Gabriel in the way we are, because you just see it. Whereas with Madueke, I'll be honest, with Madueke, I get Hudson-Odoi vibes. I know he's not played much, but you know the way in boxing they say styles make fights? Well, with wingers specifically, styles are really, really important. And I look at the way Madueke approaches the game in comparison to Mudryk. And we already know Mudryk, as everyone in the chat, all of you guys, I'm sure, know, like, the guy, he just thinks about working, which is great. Sometimes a bit too excessively in the gym, but we know that the mentality is there. But you just know that there's a certain amount of flair. And I just think it was a case of maybe just customizing to his new environment and the Premier League, and the you know, how much is required to be able to make it, but not just ball playing ability, but to understand the timing and how, you know, where to run, how quick you need to be, how agile you need to be, the skills you possess. With Madueke, it does seem at times too one-dimensional. So I don't know. Does he need more playing time, which right now he doesn't have the level to do at Chelsea. Maybe he does need a loan. If we were to get into Angelo Gabriel, maybe you just think he gets ahead of Madueke. But Madueke, with a bit more playing time, might actually show elsewhere that he can be, developed into a decent winger. But I don't know. I get Hudson-Odoi vibes. I just feel like it's one of those players that maybe with a bit of time, under 21 level, at youth level, killed it, but at senior level, at the highest level, might just stagnate. I've just got that vibe. I hope not, because I like the guy, and I do think the way he owned up to what he done with Poch, and he put his head down, and he accepted it all and whatnot. And you expect that in a young player sometimes, and he took that responsibility. Fair enough. So I'm rooting for him. But on the ball, I'm talking styles now. I'm talking about ball playing ability. I'm talking about what he does on the pitch. It looks a bit too one-dimensional. So I don't know. We'll see what happens with him.
But Baba, what do you think about this one? In terms of his diversifying his game, like I just think he's the type of player that I think he's got to be almost like an Iron Robin, where it's like if you're going to be cutting in on your left foot, you got to be spinning those balls into the far corner. Like you've got to be something that Saka had to develop in his game, something that Leroy Sané has in his game. I think that's kind of where I see him going into that kind of trajectory, but that's the direction I see him going in, which is where you're cutting in off the right, you're beating players for fun. They can't stop you. You're too strong, you're too quick, you're too skillful. You cut in and you start lacing that shot in the back of the net, and you start hitting goals in. I don't think you're going to go off on your right foot and give us crosses. I don't think the passing is of a Cole Palmer level where I'm looking to you for creativity in terms of from a standing position. So for me, the only other way is to start hitting the back of the net.
See, I feel he needs time, to be honest. There were reservations with Mudryk also when we started out the season, and he was not looking particularly bright, and we all thought that there is something wrong with the team. If Chilwell is to start as the left winger, then there is something seriously wrong with the attacking talent that we have. But he got the chance. He proved himself, as most of it has been covered by you guys. Works really hard. Has had a good 3-4 outings. Has scored a couple of goals as well. I think Madueke also needs that. If you remember the Wimbledon game, although it was a crap performance, but he was I would say the only decent player that I could remember from that game, and he took that penalty also. It's all about what kind of football Poch wants to play, because I don't think so. Right side is an issue right now with their attack, with Palmer and Sterling playing there consistently, and both of them are doing really well. With Palmer, you get that versatility, and right now I don't think so Madueke fits into that mix of things. But again, he needs time. He needs some minutes to prove that, okay, I can do something really good if I'm given the chances. Maybe if we play like a team like a Sheffield in the Premier League and he's given a start, and if he were to play for 60 minutes, then it's up to him to make those 60 minutes count. We cannot write him off right now. I'm completely with Miz on this one. I think he's a very good player. He brings a different dimension to the team. But it's about the opportunities that are given to him and how he grabs those opportunities. And this will be the case, unfortunately for him, because the amount of talent right now we have, and with Nkunku coming in later, those opportunities would diminish. And Ian Maatsen is always preferred over Madueke in those advanced roles by Pochettino.
Yeah.
And the injury did not help him at all. I think a good preseason right after the Euros. Was it the World Cup or the Euros? I think it was the Euros, right? The under-21 Euros.
Under 21 Euros.
Yeah.
Under 20. Okay, Cassidy was with the Italian team in that World Cup, in the under 20 World Cup. Yeah, that's why I got confused. So yeah, after the Euros, when that whole video popped up with him convincing Colwell, and Colwell was like shrugged him off. No, I don't want to talk about Chelsea right now. That thing happened. So we were all like, okay, he's proper Chelsea. He's the agent Madueke, if anyone remembers, at that point of time. And that was a very unfortunate thing for him to happen, that he got injured just before the preseason. And I think that really deterred his chances to get any kind of first team minutes in the team, because Poch will obviously choose his team based on what he's got from the players so far in the preseason. And I think that was a major part of us struggling initially as well, because Nkunku was a major part of that team. But yeah, he will be given opportunities in the league game. I think he'll start definitely. The way he started against Wimbledon, and that is where he needs to make those minutes count. And even if it does not happen, I won't write him off. I won't say that he's a bad player. Maybe what Younes has said, that he needs a loan spell. But see, that loan thing, we were also talking about Mudrik, right? After last season, that maybe he needs to go to Shakhtar again to get that mojo back. And maybe when he's developed a little bit more, we can get him back in the team. So you have to have a plan with what you are going to do with him, because I don't think so with Nkunku coming in, Maatsen stays and Madueke stays and Gabriel is balling out at Strasbourg and Madueke, Palmer, Sterling, 7-8
You can't.
attackers. When
I'm saying you can't
Yeah.
keep all those players. It's just too many.
You can't. So it's up to him. It's up to him. It's up to him how he used those minutes.
Yeah, there's an excess of. I mean, we already knew this, but we have too many players of the same.
And same thing is going to happen to midfield also. Don't forget Santos. and Cassidy.
100%.
The two players who literally played like interchangeably alongside Enzo, because we did not have Caicedo in the preseason. So the two players who played alongside Enzo and Gallagher were these two players only. So what I still don't get it. What we've like, why we sent Santos on loan, and that too at Nottingham Forest, a mini Chelsea, signing players for no reason.
This is the thing, when you've got so many young talented players, which they all are, they all have different attributes. You will lose some of them because they literally can't all make it, which is, it's just sad, because you definitely gain an attachment to all of them at some point. Like, Andre Santos, massive fan of what he did in preseason. Can I see a world where him, Lavia, and Leslie Okachoku are here alongside Caicedo and Enzo? It's unlikely. It would be nice. This is probably as far as you can push it in terms of numbers in those positions. But if one of them become too good, then they're going to need to start every week, and then you have a problem. Unless you've got some sort of Pep level of rotation on the go, it's going to be a struggle. And the same goes for these winger spots that you just mentioned as well.
Without Europe, those opportunities also become very limited, because you've got less games to play.
Yeah,
you can't give opportunities to in European games. Like if you've won 3 out of 3, the next 3 games you can take it a bit easy and give those players a chance.
That's my worry with Madueke right now is where's he going to get the game time from? I think the next start is probably Blackburn, which is fair enough, but I think he probably needs more than just the cup starts. If he's to build any momentum and consistency, he probably needs some Premier League starts. But like you said, we've already got maybe 3-4 players that maybe are ahead of him in the pecking order, so it's a tough one. But we'll have to see. It's just the top level, so it's very competitive, and that's what happens, I guess.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Yeah,
yeah.
Look, at the top level, you can't just throw players in just because he's not playing, so he's got to play. Like that's not how it works.
I think the squad will be trimmed a bit more. I don't think so. We're done with the squad trimming.
I agree.
Do you think it will trim in January even more? Because I do. Do you know what? I do feel like we have too many. I do feel like we have too many players, but that's if everybody's fit. We don't ever have anybody fit. So it looks like we have just the right amount of players, because I'm just going to automatically.
We don't ever have anybody fit.
I'm just going to automatically assume we always have a minimum of 4 injuries, 4 or 5. That's how I build the squad from now on.
But some of these injured players get injuries during their injury period.
Yeah, literally.
It's mad, isn't it?
So
like
setback FC.
Like yesterday there was a pic of Nkunku going around alongside the pool, and like one of his foot is just above the water, and people are commenting, please walk and tread carefully around the pool area, because we don't want you having fall in the pool again and be injured again. So I don't know. Do you guys think it's down to our medical team, or something is fishy behind the scenes?
I think it's a lot deeper than that, man. I really, truly do think it's a lot deeper than that. It's not just the medical team. I think some of these players, how much are they? What level of training are they doing? Is it just weights? Yeah, are they doing the important stretches? I think there was not that long ago. There was a particular Chalobah's mate, I think that trainer friend of his, then they retracted that. But there was some truth behind it. Like that trainer guy was saying, do they do their Pilates? Do they do this? Do they do that? Do they work on extending their muscles out as much as they can. Because every time some of our players go into a tackle where they extend their leg out a little bit or they extend their knee out a little bit, they're injured. So it's not always about just building muscle, or lots of cardio training, this, that, the other. I think you need to be able to do those other intricate training sessions as well. Do you know what I mean? So,
which you'd think they do at this level, wouldn't they? Like, you'd think this is the highest level.
Maybe this is the thing.
mean?
Maybe they don't. That's the thing. Maybe they're not doing it. Do you know what?
I'd honestly agree that last season was a problem because I believe last season we underworked. And I think that was quite obvious. And if you underwork for a substantial amount of time and then you get yourself going, there is a higher risk of injury. So I think that's played a part too. But it's crazy if we're not even doing those things that you've just mentioned. The simple of extending muscle at the highest level is pretty mad.
Like, for instance, Younes, would you be blaming the medical team? Maybe one or two instances we could have, in regards to, say, Reece James or Ben Chilwell. Like, these guys are getting hamstring problems, muscle problems, knee problems, that problem, this problem. Is it really the medical team that's making them get injured? I don't think so. There's certain things that these particular players will need to understand about their body. Do you know what I mean? Like, they need to get what's going on.
I think everybody needs to be at Madueke and Gallagher's house immediately and just follow whatever they're doing.
No, you know what? It's true. It's true.
Bro, whatever them two are doing, just do what they're doing. I don't even care.
Yeah.
Just do what they do. Like, because
It's actually true.
they're built like bricks and they don't get injured so far. Like, Gallagher's just, Gallagher's gonna be a Willian or an Aspilicueta, or he's just not gonna get injured. This guy is just, he's on another level with his
Touch
own
wood.
thing.
Touch
Yeah, touch wood. Like,
Next thing you know, against Brentford,
I mean, you know
Gallagher
what?
after 6 months.
if he gets injured, then it's us. Do you know what I mean? We have to take responsibility. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's genes. I don't know. Some of them are just absolute weapons in terms of the way they're built. But James, very fragile now. Chilwell, very fragile. Like you said, Fofana, forget about him. Long-term injury when he comes back as well. Nkunku was injured last year for Leipzig, missed the World Cup, injured this year. Is he going to be one of those that are kind of in and out? So I do think I was a big advocate of trimming the squad down, but having seen how many injuries we picked up again this season and how intense I know Pochettino's training sessions are as well because of the high intensity press that he wants to put on this team, maybe we should leave the squad around this size so we always cover ourselves, because otherwise we could leave ourselves very short. Even at other times during the season, even with this squad, we still had a bench of, young Washingtons and Alfies and Matisses. It was crazy. We still had like a bench full of kids, even though we have this depth. So Lavia's another one. Lavia was injured last year as well for Southampton, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
So
I think it's a different injury though. But I think, look, the bottom line with these injuries is that, like, I think it's going to be tough because we don't have enough games as well. Yes, keep the players, 100% keep the players. I do feel there might be few outgoings in the January window, like Martin. It's a fine balance. Pochettino will have to suss out, because you don't want to have players that don't play games and they're part of the squad sulking. Do you know what I mean? Because it's difficult for a player to keep coming in, train hard, and then you're not even in the squad. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he'll have to suss out any level of any level of negativity in the group. He needs to eradicate that ASAP.
That's a good follow, because I was going to ask you, would you make some, it's crazy, right? Because we need to win this game. But for Brentford, people are saying Enzo could do with a rest because he's played every game for Chelsea, for Argentina. He just come back from South America, played straight away against Arsenal. Pochettino was kind of joking. He couldn't drop
Enzo-like player?
Yeah.
Who's your Enzo-like player on the bench?
I wouldn't rest him.
We don't have one. So we have a week in between.
It's a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like you wouldn't make any of these changes against Brentford. And then maybe Blackburn, that's when you make the changes.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
exactly.
of course. Yeah,
exactly.
100%.
Yeah. Blackburn, no one played.
Against Brentford, buddy, you're one of our star players. Like, am I resting you in the Premier League game? Like last I checked, I think we 10th or 11th. Still, what were you what am I resting for? Because we are first at the moment,
and we're in October.
We're
coming
10
into
points
November.
lead. Do you know what I mean? Like we got a lot of hard work to do. I don't even think, even if Poch was to suggest that to Enzo, I think Enzo would say, "Are you on drugs?" Like, with all due respect, Poch, you're the manager, but are you on drugs? I'm playing. I don't even care if you don't put me on the starting lineup. I will be there. I will start. I will be there. So, nah, man, that's a non-question, man. But yeah, against Blackburn, you could potentially have Enzo come off the bench in the second half, something like that.
Blackburn's a big game, though, because we need to win that cup.
Absolutely. We shouldn't have like 11 changes for Blackburn, and disrespect them and then get eliminated. And then all of us in the review, Poch, da 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 da. We all ask for changes, and then
I think subtle changes are needed, like players like Enzo.
Small changes.
Maybe Caicedo, but like I'd keep the bulk of that team. I probably would keep Colwell in there. I'd keep Cucurella in there 100%.
100%.
Gallagher can play every game because that guy's fitness levels, he doesn't seem to drop off.
Yeah, you can take Enzo out. You
Yeah.
can definitely take Thiago Silva out. You can potentially take Robert Sanchez and give Petrovic a chance. That's about it. And then the rest, Mudryk continue on. Reece James probably plays because it's a good game for him to get a start, maybe, or I don't know, maybe get 45 minutes, perhaps.
I'm excited that Badia Ashil and Disasi could potentially be ready for that game. I wouldn't mind seeing that partnership together as well. Actually, that would be pretty cool.
There's a lot of possibilities, but at the same time, we can't be making wholesale of changes, and then if it's a negative result, then be upset. What's going on? Like this is a competition. We beat Blackburn. I believe we're in the quarterfinals.
Yeah, we're in the quarterfinals. Yeah.
So
one from the semis, then two legs.
This is getting serious now. Do you know what I mean? So
and there's no Man City, so
we got
and one team in quarterfinals is going to be either of Port Vale or Mansfield.
Exactly.
So if you are lucky enough, you can
because
get
it's
one of those teams.
Is it Arsenal Liverpool?
yeah, no. Arsenal, West Ham, and Liverpool versus
Man United?
No, Man United, not Man United.
But it's Arsenal, West
They're not
Ham,
playing
which
Newcastle,
is
no?
Someone's gonna.
No.
Man United, Newcastle. Man United, Newcastle.
That's it. Yeah, Man United playing Newcastle.
So we're gonna have two Premier League teams get knocked out. It might be West Ham that goes through.
I'll go through the fixtures actually because there is two favorite ones in there. There's Mansfield versus Port Vale, which you mentioned. There's Exeter versus Middlesbrough.
What a cracker.
I'll take either one of those as well. There's West Ham, Arsenal. Obviously, then ourselves play Blackburn. Bournemouth versus Liverpool. Everton versus Burnley. I'll take either of those. Ipswich versus Fulham. I'll take either of those. And then Man United versus Newcastle. So the big teams, Arsenal and Man United.
I'll take any of those, Matisse. I'll take any of them because they're not scary.
Man United. Well, I'm not gonna lie. I'm shameless. I'll take the easiest possible route so we can win this cup. I don't give a damn.
Liverpool there still? Is Liverpool still there?
Against Bournemouth.
I'd like to.
Okay, that's the one I'd keep away from. Liverpool.
I'd avoid Liverpool, Arsenal, and Man United or Newcastle. I'll leave that as well.
I don't know about avoiding Arsenal, man. I think we can beat them.
Damn, you got a pet to your step in it.
Listen, mate.
Because Arsenal, I'm pretty certain they will rotate. They will.
Do you know what I want? I want Man United or Newcastle to get West Ham or Arsenal. Let them knock each other out. I'll take Port Vale, Exeter, all these teams.
Beautiful.
I don't give a damn. I want this cup. I'm not here to. I want to go up against the big boys. I don't care. Give me Exeter, Port Vale, all the way to the end. I'll play Burnley in the final. We'll beat them 3-0 and I'll be shameless. I'll take that cup like Champions League. I don't care. I don't care.
I mean, if that's the way, I don't mind one bit. The only team I would want to keep away from, the only one, the rest I don't really care. I think it's evens, is Liverpool. I don't want to see Liverpool.
I think they get to the final.
I hope they get either an Arsenal or a Man United after and get themselves knocked out. Do you know what I mean? and then we can, because that's one team. Even if they do rotate, their style don't change. Do you know what I mean? Liverpool are Liverpool. And that's a tough one.
In terms of difficulty, it's Liverpool, Newcastle, and I'll say Liverpool,
Arsenal.
Newcastle, and Arsenal, and then United much lower down.
No. You got little teams that's left, like Mansfield, Port Vale, Exeter, Man United, Ipswich. Do you know what I mean?
I think Newcastle will knock Man United out. Revenge for the final last year.
I think they will. Yeah,
I think
United
they'll
all
knock them
over
out.
the place.
I think I think you guys are right. I think it's time for revenge. That's how Newcastle will look at it.
I didn't watch the game against Copenhagen, but they still struggled.
They were pants.
Yeah, I heard they were pants as well. Got away with that one. Look, they're not good. They're far from clicking, but they're a cheeky team, man. They always squeeze out a 1-0 somehow through a counter attack. Like they've got the quality to put away a goal. You know what I mean?
Against these teams that they're playing, Sheffield United, Copenhagen.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Stick them against someone half what decent. If they play like how they did yesterday, they're ruined.
I think they've got Man City this weekend, don't they?
They do on Sunday, they do.
They are ruined.
I think they're a decent team, Man City.
Where is it taking place? Don't tell me it's at the Etihad.
It's at,
I think it is at
Old Trafford, but I don't think it matters, to be honest.
Yeah, it's Old Trafford.
It don't matter.
Yeah.
Man United's
It
home
could be in
record this
Istanbul.
season- Man United have
it will
not
still be
played.
the same score.
Man United have not played a good home game this season. They've not played at home this season at all. They played, what was it? It was Galatasaray at Old Trafford, wasn't it? Or was it away?
Old Trafford.
Those
Lost
at Old Trafford.
Palace at home. Lost Wolves at home. First game, they were shit. What other ones as well? Nottingham Forest.
They were losing
two goals down. Yeah, so Man United at home is not what they were last year, where they were just like serious home record. Away record was kind of the stumbling block. So we'll see. We'll see. But before we wrap up, Dacha Fofana was the last one I had on the list last night as well. Had to put out a little bit of an apology for Union Berlin. I think he got substituted and showed a bit of dissent to the manager.
Interesting stuff. I was
plain disrespect.
I wanted to. I was planning to do a video on this. I still want to do it. There's something interesting happening there. We need to keep an eye on his loan performances. I think he's now featured in maybe 9 or 10 Bundesliga matches or something like that.
He's played quite a lot of games, yeah.
In the last few games, he's been coming off the bench. He's not scored yet in the Bundesliga.
Which is mad. Pre-season, bro, he was smashing them in.
He was smashing him. He was doing really well. I think he got an assist in the German Cup. But in recent times, it's been a bit strange because the Berlin manager has also come out and said that, he's had some troubles in his private life as well, apparently. And it's very difficult for a player like a young player like David Fofana to come in and change the course of a match, because I think Union Berlin are now on a 9-match losing streak in all competition. They've now lost 9 in a row, which is quite incredible.
Are they bottom?
They're close to bottom. I think they won their first 2 Bundesliga matches and then they lost every single one, and then they lost the matches in the Champions League as well.
Wow.
So, for him, look, I don't like when young players do this, throw a tantrum, and when the manager is trying to guide you, this or that. Not only he threw a tantrum on the manager, he threw a tantrum on the players as well. I'm happy that he's come out and he's apologized, which is fine. But this is not the right way to go about things. Like, I know Mudryk is only like a few years older. I get it. He's a little bit more mature, but you see the way Mudryk has carried himself. Do you know what I mean? Like, even
apart from the whole butt crack situation,
apart from the social media stuff, he loves to video butt cracks. But apart from that, he's gone through a lot as well, Mudryk. Right? He's gone through so much. He's taken so much crap from the fan base too. But you never see this guy throw tantrums and vent his frustrations in front of the media. So David Fofana, you got to be careful, man. Put your head down and work hard. Bundesliga is a place where attackers thrive. Like, you got to, try and lift that team. Do you know what I mean? This is a perfect opportunity. You look at what Cassidy is doing for Leicester. He dropped another man of the match performance.
Another player that we're not mentioning in that midfield. So we spoke about all these.
He apparently dropped a man of the match
midfield is
performance again. Like this is his second or third man of the match for Leicester.
Cassidy was good in preseason as well.
Yeah,
So that midfield is long, man. I don't even like that midfield. That midfield is a headache. Honestly, it's too much. It's too much. Somebody needs to flop. It's too many good players in that midfield. And then I mean, we'll see what happens with him with Fofana. Andre Santos is going to Brazil, isn't he? So he's not going to be available for Nottingham Forest anyway, is he? I think is he not playing with the national team in a tournament the next couple of games, next couple of weeks?
Do they have a tournament coming up?
I think so, yeah. I think I read somewhere that Andre Santos is going to be away of the international team. So what I was really glad to hear is we have a recall clause, which I think we might have to exercise in January, because I think it's so far been a complete waste of time. And also that they'll financially be there'll be implications if they don't play him. So yeah, hopefully he either plays or he comes back, because he second half of the season he needs to be playing. I can't be having this guy just a whole season wasted. It's just crazy to me, especially when Barcelona are knocking on the door as well. I think he's one of them players I could see his head getting turned if he has a waste of a year out on loan, and then we try and loan him off again in the second year. He might not trust us with the selection or the choice. And then Barcelona come and throw some money at it, and then next thing you know, he's over there. So, and I think he's going to be a top player, so we have to be careful. Yeah. But all right, we're going to wrap up. What a show! Great show. Got it for everything really. Big up everybody in the chat. A lot of conversation there. Had to block one person because they just had to take it too far, calling everybody names, and it's just too many cool, calm people in the chat that we just if you're going to disrespect people in the chat or on the panel, you're just going to be blocked, because we just rather just see the constructive, even if you disagree, it's fantastic. I love to see the range of opinions. There's loads of people that disagree on the Madueke segment, and was more, I mean, I don't think there was even anything to disagree with on Madueke. It was just a conversation, but definitely in line with some people saying he needs to go on loan, some people saying he needs to stay, and it's too early to judge. He hasn't played 90 minutes. So good debate in there. But one person just doesn't understand how to debate, it seems. Younes, let the people know where to find you, bro. It's been a pleasure.
Yep. Shout out everyone. You guys, the chat as well, Iceman included. We'll keep up to date and see exactly what's going on. I'll give my thoughts. Younes talks football, and then we gear up to the Chelsea-Brentford game on the weekend. Early kickoff Saturday lunchtime, which is a very interesting time slot where shocks can happen. But I'm hoping the shock is Chelsea are going to win a football match. So fingers crossed, and convincingly. So hopefully we keep that up, and I'll give all my thoughts. Younes talks football. Big up.
Monsters in the chat. Wow. I've not seen this brother in how many years? How is he doing? I hope you're well, bro. Big up. We miss you on YouTube. Miz, let the people know where to find you, bro. It's been a pleasure. Great show.
Yeah, man. Great show. Good to be back. The other side of the coin, I've actually got a live stream that's lined up straight after this. If you guys want to continue on chilling with some more Chelsea conversations, I'll be talking about Nicholas Jackson and Amanda Broya and how everyone wants to talk about a new striker, this, that, the other. I want to talk
about Armando Broya.
I want to start a dialogue. I want to start a conversation as to why we need to trust who we got. Not worry about what's going to happen in January. So if you're keen, come and join.
Miss, that holiday done you wonders, man. What happened?
Yeah, man, you've relaxed and calm and what's going on?
Yeah, no, this isn't Miz. This isn't Miz. This is someone else. This is an imposter.
Do you know those?
I'm pretty sure. Give me a few games and I'll be back again.
You know those pictures of him on the hammock? He's on the hammock. He's chilling. He's relaxing. He's lying down. Yeah, man.
Do you know what? Like, it's a good feeling to be taken out sometimes. Like when you just get out of it, and just enjoy it.
The way he's speaking also is now so very calm. Like
he's come out like Gandhi.
Yeah. Football does not matter, man. It's just a part of life.
It's just a game.
It's just a game. It does not matter. It does not affect your mental health. Spend time
No,
with
honestly,
your
like I
family.
had such a brilliant time away. I was like, what am I getting stressed out about? What am I getting upset? Like, I shouldn't allow Chelsea to make me upset. Like, so
No, it was the Mudryk goal, wasn't it? As Matisse called me and was like, "I bet Miz is jizzing everywhere right now." You did, didn't you? Now you're relieved. Now he's like, "I love life."
I love life. I've jizzed enough.
Do you know what's so mad? This weekend was such a pivotal weekend for you because it was like either you spend time with your family and you come back all relaxed, and it's like you've basically had a spa weekend, or you watch Chelsea. And I'm telling you, if you'd watched Chelsea this weekend and you'd seen those 2 goals crash in, you would have been.
I would have lost it. I think I would have lost it. Yeah, I would have lost it.
You would have come back on some villain arc.
I'm pretty certain if things don't go our way this coming weekend, all of those feelings, Miz will be back.
You will be there. Baba, let the people know where to find you, bro. It's been a pleasure. Great show. Brilliant.
Yeah, man. Great show. Drogbaba, the same place as always. We are very close to 100K on Instagram as well. So please do make sure.
Wow.
Excuse me, what?
100K on Instagram. Casually.
It means nothing. Casually saying
100K.
that he's basically UK rapper equivalent numbers. What's going on?
It's the love and support of the people. Really grateful for all the support and love. Please do make sure to give me a follow there. And yeah, I've also started doing some cricket related content on my second channel, which is called Drogbaba Plays, which I had originally in place for gaming, but now I'm doing a lot of cricket content over there. And me and Miss will do discussion over there soon, tomorrow hopefully. So do make sure to check that out as well. And yeah, the main channel is always there. Drogbaba just crossed 220K subscribers today, so thank you so much.
Lord.
What a beast.
Yeah, so and if you got any more energy left, then do make sure to follow me on Twitter as well.
That's where it's definitely going down. That's where it's
definitely, especially in the Cricket World Cup.
That's where it's definitely going down.
Yeah.
Do you know what? Baba just stuns me with his numbers. Honestly, it's like these numbers that I'm hearing are just insane. So congratulations, bro. I know you're saying them casually and in a humble way, but if I was saying 220, I'll probably be doing backflips while saying it. So that's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah, Hassan, I see you in the chat. I don't know if you ended up doing your show. I was waiting for your watch along to start because I didn't do one yesterday, but hope you're well, brother. And yeah, guys, we're gonna wrap up. And listen, we'll see you back next week. I guess maybe after Blackburn. So it'll be 2 games past by the time we link up again. And hopefully it's 2 wins and very little drama to report on. And we can just continue this very happy feeling. We don't want to bring, this is just a message just for you back. You know what I'm saying? We're trying to keep things calm now. Unless Chelsea don't bring him back to the message. Because I'm telling you, if you don't beat Brentford, the message,
it will be back.
He will not be coming in there calm like last time. I'll tell you that for free.
We might have to jump onto Drogbaba's new cricket channel to see the cricket version of this message is just for you.
There you might, see some really good stuff because Bangladesh are not doing well in the World Cup. So that is where Miz
we get to see Miz back over there. Everyone, get over there.
But see, Bangladesh is equivalent of Everton in the Premier League. So, the expectations are lower.
So you're dead inside.
And also, welcome back to Younes on the watch-alongs as well. I had a good call with him, obviously, during the watch-along.
That was fun.
Yeah, brilliant. And you almost brought back the good luck charm. You almost. I
thought I had it, man. I swear.
Bro, if we had won that game, I'm not gonna lie, you would have started to look like a little bit of a mythical creature.
Yeah, I thought it was creature.
So yeah, man, we've got a lot of stuff going on, people. But yeah, big up. Make sure you smash up the like, subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time in a bit, people. Peace.